We as women are told that carbs are evil. It works short term, then it's gonna backfire and it's gonna screw up your cycle. My book was Biohack Like a Woman. The results women have had are insane. I had a woman message me yesterday and she lost 40 pounds in 55 days. And all she did was eating in the right order. So we don't
change her calorie intake.
No.
That goes against what every single personal trainer bangs on about online.
They're usually male. I can't have a conversation with you unless you had a cycle. She tried for 7 years to get pregnant. She was told by every doctor that she's infertile. Changed slightly the diet, she got pregnant, now had a baby. It's a male-centric system that we are forced to operate in, and then we're surprised that we're not thriving.
Aggie.
Hi.
So nice to have you here. For people who are just stumbling across you, perhaps for the first time, how would you describe who you are, what it is you do?
I teach women how to live according to their cycle through biohacking, but through a lens of what I call bioslacking. So how you can adapt to all of the technology to improve your life, but not make it miserable, I guess, which is what I call bioslacking.
Bioslacking?
Yes.
That's your term?
Yeah, I basically realized that it's amazing that we have this technology, but sometimes in the pursuit of improving your life, you forget to have some fun. And so I'm kind of sometimes biohacking, sometimes bioslacking, and that's basically what has been my main mission for the last few years.
It does seem like that, hey? It does seem like every single time you get on social media, there's another person telling you to do another hack. And another thing, and then another supplement, and then another thing, and then half your day's gone and trying to optimize your life.
Yeah, and it optimizing, it's almost like turning us into this very masculine-ish productivity machine. That would be the right word. You want to be, why are you optimizing? Because you want to be more productive and have a better performance. And life isn't only about that, right? It's about not being productive. It's not about performing. It's just being, right? That's human nature. And I think once I realized that biohacking can feel very performative and wellness and competitive, and I realized that's just not how I see wellness. And I think it's just finding the balance of how do I use technology to connect with nature and help my nervous system thrive, but not stress too much about it.
Where did that begin? Because it sounds like you went down the path of the traditional biohacking sort of.
Yeah.
Where did you where was that fork in the road where you were like, this isn't working for me and my body?
Because I'm type A personality, so I would read about a hack and I was like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do all of them at the same time. And I was the kind of person that would wake up at 5 a.m. and listen to Tony Robbins, did an hour meditation and a yoga, and brushed my teeth with my left hand, and literally everything. Went to the followed the whole protocol of the gym bros at biohacking, and then realized that it's I'm not really fun to be around because my husband is a bioslacker. He sleeps in, doesn't have healthy breakfast, goes straight on his phone, is just the exact opposite of me. And we had a lot of tension because I realized that my family, him, my friends, they're okay, cool, you're doing all of these things and whatever, but you kind of not fun to be around because you're just stressing about everything. And that was really good feedback for me, that I realized that cool, I can live longer, but who's gonna be around with me in 60 years time if being around me makes people uncomfortable. And I didn't want to go that path. I was like, is there a way that I can take care of myself but not feel like I'm forcing or judging people around me when they're not, and find a way to have more softness and more fun and more play. And just I also believe that this is a self-fulfilling prophecy, and if you feel eating a donut will kill you, it probably will, right? So it's it just kind of let me, I guess, have more ease in life.
Mm. I'm super excited to dive into this all. And before we sort of go down the route of biohacking and for women and everything, you and Jacob just had a little baby.
We did, yeah.
And I'm curious to know, so 2 months old now. I'm not sure
Yeah.
when this will drop. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe he's 3 months old. Um, Take us back 11, 12 months ago, prepping for the pregnancy, based off everything you know when it comes to women's health,
Mm.
hormones, biohacking, bioslacking, all of these things. Take me back a year, year and a half. What did the journey actually look like to prep to conceive?
Oh, wow. It's a little bit like, I mean, it's very much like a marathon, right? Like the earlier you start, the more successful you're going to be. So, a minimum, I would say it's like 3 months. And it's called trimester 0, which is essentially when you build a nutrient reserve and a muscle reserve. So, because you build a baby out of your own body, you want to make sure that you have vitamins and minerals and all the reserves, all the nutrient reserve, so you can build a healthy baby so that you can survive the pregnancy and feel like you can, you know, you're not giving from an empty cup, literally. And same goes for muscle. So I actually have a whole like fertility challenge that I have done for women, and we got, I think, 8 or 9 women pregnant that were not able to be pregnant before. And that includes acupuncture, like heavy detox, mold detox, like all of the things that like people think that they're infertile, and then we kind of help them navigate through that. And yeah, it's there's so much you can do, and then at the end of the day, there's this element of a miracle, and you can get everything right about your fertility journey, and we now know that some cells like don't choose each other, which is crazy. So it's like almost like a proof that you can like this is where you can biohack, but then there's something that's kind of like outside of your
Just
control.
something outside, like
Yeah.
another plan.
Yeah. So like to answer your question, if I was to get pregnant, so I'm 38, right? So I got pregnant quite late. Um, Things that I would do today if I was to get pregnant in the future, um, check my inflammation levels, uh, check heavy metals, check my oral health, very big one.
Oral health.
Yeah, there's like a lot of studies that um, oral health or like old fillings can cause infertility.
What?
Yeah, like heavy metals. So,
Okay.
yeah, so I would do that. I would
So
check
you get them
mold.
removed.
Hmm.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, 80s babies or 90 people that are like, in their 30s, like the chances are that, we have some sort of fillings that might be leaking. So that's a very big one. Essentially, like, even having some sort of inflammation in your mouth, it's a low level inflammation that can prevent you from having like, being super fertile. So that would be for women. Checking out removing plastics, so get like checking for microplastics and making sure like they say polyester is the best birth control, and there's something to be said that like leaning into detoxing, right? And like
I feel like you're saying so many things I'm hearing for the first time.
oh really?
Polyester is the best birth control.
Yeah, so
What do you mean?
it's so many microplastics, like like I don't know about Australia, but in LA, like especially like if you want to, let me just say that again. In LA, the coolest outfit you can wear is like gym wear, right? Or
Or else just like the Gold Coast.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is like you want to look cute. You wear aloe yoga or whatever, even though you're not going to the gym. This is what you wear, and this is essentially polyester. And there were studies when they put polyester on dogs and they became infertile. So we're
Whoa.
holding, polyester underwear for both men and women. Um, EMF exposure on men and laptop, right? Like proven to cause infertility for men. Overheating, microplastics, like all of these things cause low level, and whether it's inflammation, whether it's high level toxins. So if I was to get pregnant, I would, for example, not wear and was struggling, I wouldn't wear like leggings, for example.
Holy dooly. So the plastics in there, and then you said EMF.
EMF, so
So
like
from screens and stuff?
from putting a laptop on your lap,
Wow.
especially for
For
guys.
guys.
Yeah. So
Holy
that
dooly.
like literally causes infertility. So like little things that like, okay, like I don't want to be that person that would be like, oh no, if you put a laptop on your lap, you will become infertile and you won't be able to have kids. But also, it's so easy to reverse that it's kind of helpful to be aware of them, because you might be, I know couples, like I had this girl in my challenge, Sandra. She got married, tried for 7 years to get pregnant. She was told by every doctor that she's infertile. Did my challenge, like they just removed like the laptop, the polyester. They did acupuncture with the right person. Removed plastic out of their life. Changed slightly the diet. She got pregnant. Now had a baby, a very healthy baby, and it makes me realize it's like these are some small changes, and here you are thinking that you're infertile, and there's nothing you can do. So that's why I love biohacking, right? Because it's just kind of like self-awareness. How do I go back to the roots? But I also don't want to just promote fear mongering and it's like, don't touch, if you touch your laptop and no, because it's like, okay, we live in a city. It's really hard to remove all the EMFs out of your life. It's really hard to remove all the plastics and like never drink from a plastic bottle. Great, like at home back in LA, I have a system. We have water delivery that's in glass. It's easy. In Bali, you cannot eliminate plastic. Unless you buy single-use bottles, which are a pain, but every water delivery in Bali has those big plastic bottle containers. So it's kind of like finding the balance, right?
Holy dooly. There's so much that I had no idea about, because this is obviously with Koa 6 months old, the last year and a half of our life. This has been a whole new chapter as well, to discovering all of this, and not also realizing how hard it is for some people to fall pregnant as well. It's been a conversation we've had with lots of people now that it's actually of interest to us. So it's very fascinating. Where was so you mentioned a few things you're doing. So, what do you call it? Something zero, trimester zero.
Yes.
There's a few things to actually start doing. So very consciously aware of some of these 1%ers that could be impacting you in some way. What was life before that? Like, have you got like a normal sort of baseline that you're sort of, these are the things I naturally try to do to sort of stay healthy and all this. And then I pivoted to stop doing these things, start doing these things with.
Yeah. And obviously there are different levels, right? So like what I do, which would include like peptide therapy, right? Like
peptide therapy?
So basically injecting peptides, right?
Yeah.
So, but I paused like about 6 months before trying to get pregnant because they're not tested impact on pregnancy. So I was like, I don't want to just get pregnant straight off a peptide because there have been no studies on pregnant women. But it doesn't have to be as invasive. You can make sure I think the biggest challenge depends if we're talking men or women. So I don't know what your audience is because there would be very different advice.
I mean, you're the queen of this. And that's why I love you on here, because we've had so many people want to throw their opinions. But what I love that you've done is you spent so much time dissecting this whole conversation for women specifically. So I think keep it in women.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Because there's so many layers, right? There's the biological layer that I would tell you that number one reason for women is dysregulated hormones and not regular cycle, and either low progesterone because they're under eating carbs and they're gonna have short luteal phase, or they're gonna not ovulate and that comes up as low libido and they can't get pregnant, or their glucose is dysregulated and there will be signs of PCOS. So it's like so many reasons for why women would struggle. But at any point in your fertility journey, if you want to get pregnant in a month or two, or in 10 years or 15, there's so many benefits of regulating your hormones, living according to your cycle, celebrating your cycle as a woman by doing simple things like don't give up carbs, just eat carbs last at every meal. have your carbs, just don't start your meal with carbs. So whenever next meal that you go to a restaurant, your food arrives, have some
Don't
vegetables
take the
first.
garlic bread.
Yeah, no.
What does that do?
So
So I can still have. So if I'm Sally, I'm a
mhm.
woman. If you're telling me I can still eat
I mean,
carbs,
it would work for you as well.
really?
Here's the thing. We as women are told that carbs are evil, or like if you drop carbs, you're gonna lose like X, Y, and Z
Okay.
pounds. It works short term, right? It's great, but then it's gonna backfire, and it's gonna scrap your cycle. Or women undereat protein because women tend to have sweeter breakfast, or the diet that's promoted to women, even here in Bali. What do you think? Like smoothie bowls or
Mm.
smoothies in general, acai bowls or like pancakes, because it's cute and sweet and Instagrammy. So we as women tend to undereat protein and like real food. And so my husband likes sweet things. And I tell you, every time I go to a restaurant and he orders his pancakes and I order an omelet with bacon on the side, there's not a single time where the waiter would bring the pancakes to him. They always
Yeah.
bring it to me. Why? Like
Because it
anywhere
looks
around the
looks
world.
pretty and Instagrammable.
Well, because it's like women tend to eat sweeter
Yeah.
breakfast, right? And it's like they don't even ask, right? There's like, oh, sweet is probably for her. And I was like, when I noticed that, I was like, well, that's so interesting that that's the reality because we
Mm.
tend to have sweeter breakfast. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day when it comes to your hormones. If you can just get through a miserable breakfast by having it full of fiber, full of protein, and have that bread, but as the last thing, almost like a dessert to your
So
meal.
what does a miserable breakfast look like?
Well, it's not miserable to me, but I think it's miserable for a lot of women. At least 30 grams of protein, so you can
So eggs or something.
eggs. For me, is the easiest, right?
Yeah.
Have eggs, have a protein smoothie. That if you can have one that's like full of, but if you can have smoothie that's at least 30 grams. 30 grams is really important because it enables muscle protein synthesis, which is essentially building muscle, especially first thing in the morning. So you want to have 30 grams of protein. If you can figure out 3 breakfasts on repeat that gets you that 30 grams of protein, which would be about like, for me, either 3 eggs and a little piece of turkey bacon, or eggs and a collagen in your matcha, right? Or which is not a complete protein, but let's just say that's basically your 30 grams. It will heal your hormones like nothing before.
Really?
Because it regulates your glucose, and glucose regulates your reproductive hormones.
So what about the carbs? So you said before, like I can still have it, just not first. How does switching my carbs to after my meal change anything in my body? What's happening?
It prevents you from having a glucose spike. So glucose is basically, it's insulin glucose. It's carbs are full of glucose, right? So
Okay.
if you have them first thing in the morning on an empty stomach without fiber and without protein, they tend to spike glucose in your body, in your blood. And then we know from science, the more it spikes, the more it dips. So you
What
didn't
happens when it spikes? What's happening in my body?
nothing to create. You get energy. It's great,
Okay.
right? Like bodybuilders want it, right? It's like spike is good. The problem is it dips after. And so two things happen. If it dips after, you crave more carbs and you have lower energy, or you need a coffee because the energy drops because your sugar drops. The more often it spikes, like one spike is perfectly normal. The more often it spikes, your baseline goes up just a little higher and a little higher and a little higher. It causes glycation, which ages your skin and the organs inside. It tends for women to have insulin resistance, which is what I had. So you can be skinny and have insulin resistance, which is like a low level of inflammation in your body where your baseline sugar or glucose is quite high. I don't want to get too scientific, but essentially it can lead to glucose related PCOS, so hormonal issues, and infertility. And that's why we have all of these Ozempic kids, is because people have lower blood sugar.
And this is all because I'm having my carbs first.
Yes.
So
Because it's normal.
yeah,
Carbs is glucose,
yeah,
right?
okay.
And then fruit is fructose. If you have them on an empty stomach, they tend to spike. If you have them with protein and fat, they spike less.
So I can eat it together. So if I order sourdough, eggs, and avocado and eat it all together? Or
That's
should I eat my eggs first and have my bread at the end?
I have my bread at the end. I started with avocado.
Interesting.
Or like what I do at Bali, there's like so many ways you can do it. I know that like if I go out and I want to have pizza with a friend and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna order a salad first
Mm.
to drown in. If I want, like, I have carrots at home, right? Like the little mini carrots. If I know that I want to go out and have a bowl of pasta, I'll just have a few carrots. It's like fiber is extremely powerful. It's so good for your gut and it allows you to not have a glucose spike.
So order
Natural.
fiber. So if I'm in a restaurant, we're gonna go to Italian.
Mm-hmm.
I should always be ordering some sort of fiber
Mm-hmm.
before I even touch the
Yeah,
garlic bread that came as appetizer.
100%.
Okay,
So it's not
this is
about like,
good.
yeah, because it's like, it's not about not having the cake. Have your cake, but
Yeah,
like in the right order.
do it intelligently.
Yeah, so my book was, Biohack Like a Woman, which is simplify what I teach. Like what I teach in my courses or in my app, it's like higher level biohacking. The book was just eat the food in the right order, limit it to 3 meals a day, have enough protein. And the results women have had are insane, like
Mm.
truly incredible. They got their fertility back. They lost, I had a woman message me yesterday and she lost, I don't want to lie, I think it was 40 pounds in 55 days. So 40 pounds is
Shit.
about what?
5 kilos.
Yeah.
I think.
And all she did was eating in the right order. I'm like, how is that possible? She did not change her diet. So we
Didn't
don't even,
change her calorie intake.
no.
That goes against what every single personal trainer bangs on about online.
I know.
Calories in, calories out. And you're saying you just change the order and lose weight.
And also, like, they're usually male. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And I'm always attacked by like these male gym bros who's like, oh, like it's all about calories. I'm like, okay, well, clearly I can't have a conversation with you unless you had a cycle, because for us it's not the same as women. So you can add calories. So imagine like I can have the same diet, but I'm gonna add 100 calories of carrots into my diet before eating all the carbs and all of this. I will actually lose weight by having that fiber, that avoiding my glucose spikes, because then I have less cravings. So now my whole metabolism will work differently. So the whole calories in, calories out does not often apply to women because we can add calories and have better regulated hormones and eat more and still lose weight. So
Holy dolly. So and this is also in the context of I mean not just getting more fertile. This is for any day, any health anyway.
100%. I think it's just like, it's funny because what is the definition in the Western world of health? Absence of disease. When you say you're healthy, you're basically thinking, I don't have a disease I can think of or I can find. Here in Asia, right? Like we're in Bali right now, the definition of health is vitality, life force, energy. So how often we have someone who's considered healthy, but they don't have energy to get through the day drinking 3 coffees and watching Netflix in the evening and sitting on the couch, and they're saying they're healthy. I'm like, no, you're not. Healthy is like endless energy, like having a mission, like purpose driven, like you're constantly creating, like creation, right? That's energy, that's health. So I just think it's so interesting that, like, first of all, we need to understand what healthy is and change the Western definition of what that means. And health is fertility, health is energy, health is bringing fruitful, like bringing your mission onto this planet, right?
It's more than just the physical.
Yeah. So it goes way beyond fertility. It goes way beyond a great physique. Because I know super skinny people that are not healthy, right? So it's like the conversation is way more broad because it's not about weight. Fertility to me is like probably one of the best indicators of how healthy you're doing. But also there are healthy people that might not be exactly fertile because emotional baggage, right? That's there to clear. And that's
so many angles I want to go down.
Yeah, no, that's the whole like psychological, emotional, mental that's a story for another day, because I also believe that there's like
Did you
the
look into
people.
that side a lot as well?
I mean, you have to when you work with women.
And what have you found to be the biggest, I don't want to say killers, I don't know the right word to use, something that could be making someone more infertile without them knowing when it comes to their emotional regulation? Like, what are you referring to?
I mean, 80% of autoimmune disease is women. Autoimmune disease is when the body attacks itself.
Mm.
Why would body attacks itself? Because there's a current version of your life doesn't resonate with your purpose, with your soul's calling, right? Like, you might think it's a little woo, but why otherwise a body would feel like, I don't want to live like this? It's giving you signals, so it attacks itself. And so women tend to be brought up in a way that makes them a little bit more people pleasing, that makes them put other people's feelings and responsibility first, right? Especially when it comes to motherhood. And you have to have that into consideration when you work with women. You know, is she a mother? How, like, what's her relationship? How is she supported, right? Like, what's her community? Does she have a good community of women around her, right? Does she have a supportive partner? Like, there's the conversation so much broader when it comes to women. Men are a little bit more simple because you guys are very good at like separating, this is work, this is home, and you can like switch it off. And I don't know about you, but I like know my husband. My husband's like, I'm stressed about work. And he's like, okay, cool, I'm done. And he moves on and does something else. And for us women, it's like, I'm going to be thinking about something that someone said for the next week.
Simona will joke. She's like, you can go through hectic stresses with work and business and have someone quit and lose money, all this, and still get a good sleep score that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can. It's like I can be in this context, like this is happening, and I'm shutting that door for tonight because it's not practical.
Yeah.
To take into my sleep. I'm
100%.
Don't get sleep.
And it's a superpower. And I think for us women, it's not as easy because being able to feel it and not be willing to let go of something that bothers us unless we clear it is helpful, right? Because we it's harder for us to like push it down, but at the same time it makes our weight loss / health journey so much more challenging. And I think unless you understand that women have to be seen more holistically versus just like calories in, calories out.
Yeah.
Then
okay, so talk to me about the cycles then as well. Before you said you celebrate your cycle, and so can we break this down? And should women be doing something different with their bodies, with their workout routines, with their diets at different times of the month?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can we break this down?
So I think if you were like if you knew nothing about biology, cycles, women, hormones, and you saw that, okay, at this time of the month, estrogen is super high, progesterone is low, and at this part of the month, it's the opposite, you probably would think, okay, cool, like that looks like that would feel different in the body, right? So perhaps I should support my body differently at this time of the month than the other. Like, it's not really that complicated in a way, right? Like, it just like it would be common logic. And somehow we had, because we had a male-centric fitness and biology and biohacking, this was completely overlooked. If there was
even the birthing process, sorry, when we were learning all about the birthing process, parts of the woman's body, I forget what it was. It's like one of the bones or the Braxton hips.
Higgs contractions,
named after a guy, Braxton. Is a doctor. So there was lots of. That's what we started learning. So we learned a lot. We did the hypnobirthing thing. Yeah. So we started learning about this whole all the different things. Like I love studying the brain. And when I learn about what the human body goes through, the woman's body through birth, like the chemicals,
amazing.
It's like, holy shit. But I absolutely see how women have been living, trying to be holistic, but it's all been sort of written from the male's perspective.
100%. And I think why so many women feel like they failed birth is because it's not there to support them. The whole system isn't there to support them. And I think the most important message is like, you can't fail at birth. You cannot. Like, you just brought life onto this planet. Now, do women feel like supported and celebrated through the whole process? Sometimes not exactly, because they feel like the environment isn't conducive for them to let go and surrender and bring on that oxytocin and everything that would make the labor favorable in a way, right? So like I 100% agree. It's like it's a medical male-centric system that we are forced to operate in, and then we're surprised that we're not thriving. And I'm like, it's not surprising. It's pretty obvious to see that if you follow a male-centric fitness advice, it might work for a little bit, but it's going to make you feel burnt out or like inadequate, or like you're going to hit a wall after 6 months or a year. Like it's going to work for a little bit, and then you're going to keep doing the same thing, and it's not going to move the needle. And so, yeah.
So walk me through the different and like pretend like I know nothing, because I am a guy and I don't. So walk me through the different weeks of the cycle. What should be my area of focus? Like what should I pay more attention to do more of and do less of in different weeks, just to sort of keep this simple?
Yeah. Okay. So if you're a guy and you have a girlfriend or a wife, or you ever want to be in a relationship with a woman, I think it's going to be your superpower to understand her cycle, right? Because it's how she operates. So women have ideally a 28-day cycle at the beginning. So day one, the first 5 to 6 days is their menstruation, which is when they lose blood. And think of it as time to nourish, right? Like you're losing blood, you're shedding. So anything that can make her feel supported. She's gonna feel inwardly focused. And should I talk about a diet? No.
Whatever you want. Whatever you think would be useful.
It might be a little too complicated, but let's just say like energetically, this is time to support her. Then
So maybe it's a recovery week.
Yeah, it's recovery.
So
then
wouldn't train. Would you recommend training?
I would either skip training or keep it super light.
A walk on the beach.
That or Pilates to me is like a lighter one. Depending how you feel, and obviously the more regulated your cycle is, the easier your period is, right? It's like there shouldn't be any pain. You shouldn't feel like you want to kill your husband because you're so frustrated with him. So the idea is that the better you feel, you actually can up your workouts over time, even during periods. So it's before the period that it's better to rest.
Okay.
But anyways, so period. This is the time to replenish. This is the time to strategize and plan and kind of make her feel like, don't make her go to a party with 400 people because she's not going to feel like she's vibing. Just this is a time for her to like connect with her intuition. Then you have follicular phase. This is where her hormones are going up. So this is the best for her workouts, the best for her to have a little bit more carbs, and she's going to be able to digest them and go through them properly. This is time to go for a run, to socialize. Then ovulation. So it's day 11 and 14 of her cycle. Ovulation is when she's the most fertile, the most attractive.
So what should I be doing in that week? Putting on my favorite outfit?
I was going to like try not to get her pregnant. So ideally, unless you want to, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people feel like, oh, you can get pregnant for only technically 5 to 6 days. So leading up to ovulation and ovulation. And ovulation is great. Like there are studies where like some strippers were ovulating and the other strippers were on the pill. And those that were ovulating had their cycles got their like much higher tips, because women are magnetic, and that's biology, because women, obviously you had to attract a partner, right? From a biological perspective, and to let him know that you're ovulating. Mm-hmm. So I think ovulation is your superpower. And after ovulation, you go to your luteal phase, which is unless you go pregnant, this is time for you to release the egg. And that tends to be the time for women to slow down, not crazy, but until you get your period, it would be our time to go back to having a little bit more carbs again and just go a little slower with life. And women do better by being cyclical. So like push, pull, push, pull. Men have testosterone, and your testosterone replenishes every day. So your every day is the same. And the Monday to Friday work week is based around men, not women. Because if this was up to us, and if you build society based on women and their needs, we wouldn't have a week, we would have a monthly system of adjusting, and we probably would all sync to one another, knowing women.
Okay, so week 1 is nourishing, go light, go easy. Week 2
pushing.
So like work, so like
everything
activity.
Yeah.
Week 3 is the arousal week.
Yeah, so it's 4 days when you get that like peak of your hormones literally peaking. And this is where our testosterone, we also have testosterone as women, and around ovulation is the highest, right? So this is our glimpse of what it's like to be men. And we also get horny. We're like, oh, well, that makes a lot of sense now.
Okay.
And then
the fourth week?
Fourth week is the luteal, which is your progesterone's the high. So progesterone is the hormone that makes you cuddly and soft. And so if you
That's movie week. That's Netflix week.
Yes.
Okay.
That's like
holy dooly, that's a month.
That is a month. Yeah. And it changes. And the beauty about luteal, like progesterone in general, is that you need to eat carbs to have progesterone. So what happens when women skip carbs? It works for a while, and then their progesterone is like gone. And they might have issues with anxiety, or they're going to feel like, oh my God, I can't fall asleep. I'm struggling. And they diagnose themselves with anxiety when it's actually a carb and progesterone issue.
Can we do this whole same situation, but in the context of business? Because you're also an extremely successful entrepreneur. You've crushed it. You've got massive companies. You do a lot. So how does that translate to a female entrepreneur? Is like, for what I'm trying to understand that, like, should she be doing sales calls on the week where she's magnetic?
100%.
Should be time. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh, that'd be it. That if you're going to do like batch sales calls, put in that week when you're magnetic. So how does it kind of relate, and how can women build their businesses in working with their cycle so they're not always hustle?
It's a great question. I don't know if this is how you're supposed to do business, because it's how I run business, which is I don't have weekly calls, because sometimes there are weeks when I don't feel like being on a call. I'm sorry, but like, and I feel like when I come from an energy of pushing myself to do it, it never works. So I talk to my team. There are some weeks when we really, really push harder, and there are weeks when I take a step back and they are working in the background of what needs to be done, and we're not talking. So I don't really run a business like for example, my husband, he has like recurring meetings, and my Monday at 9 a.m. every week, no matter what, Like, that's not me, you know?
So you could do that, but it'd be more from having to push with your head kind of.
Yeah, like very masculine energy. And I'm like, I speak to my team more of like, okay, this is my creative week. I'm feeling really creative. Can we all like do this? It's challenging because men on my team like a little bit more structure, and they are hoping that like, okay, cool, like we need to plan ahead. And I'm like, no, I just would rather tap into that inspiration that comes, you know, and treat my days as like blocks versus.
Yeah. Have you been able to break it down? Like, have you been able to accurately go, okay, I'm on week 1, so this week I want to do more of this, and in week 2 I want to be more like this? Have you been able to break that down, or are you sort of like a day-to-day, literally just going with the flow?
Well, now, I mean, it's been a while because I've been pregnant for quite some time. First pregnant, postpartum, but it's been, let me think, because it's been literally a year now that I haven't been doing it, and my team has expanded in that year massively. But I can just tell you from what was like before. Yeah, we played it by like not exactly around my cycle, but definitely around keeping it more open, right, to where the energy goes. And I also am not a big fan, and this is again, this is exact opposite of what every business person tells you, so like you don't have to take my word for it, but to me it's like I have never scheduled or like created a post on Instagram, and I've been on Instagram for 10 years, that I created and I like waited to post that post
Wow.
in 4 days or in a week. Everything that I post, I create that day because I think the frequency of that day carries that post. And this is exactly what I'm going through today. And that to me, maybe perhaps is reason for some of the success I have achieved, because it's being in tune with the energy of the day, of what people carry. And I feel like every time in business you try to plan too much, it feels not organic, because it feels like you aren't really into what people talk about. And I think that's going to be my, I guess, the way I do business is a little different, because I just realized that I'm deeply in tune with what women in my community tell me, and create a content and products based on those conversations instead of kind of like working in silo.
Because even if I think when it comes to business, I'm quite blended and integrated because I'm super creative, very intuitive, but I'm also very like, when I'm working, I'm like a fucking psychopath. I'm like rigid and planned and blah, blah, blah. But how I sort of blend it, and tell me if you relate to this at all, but like I'm stubborn if I'm fixed on the vision. I'm like, this is where I want to push it. However, when it comes to like, and I can make a year plan and a quarter plan about rocks and stuff. However, if I'm attempting this thing and I'm feeling like I'm just having to force it, I'm like, I'm gonna pivot, because that's not. If I'm forcing it, it doesn't, just because it's part of the plan. I have to also be happy to be fluid and go, it's not feeling right. I'm gonna pivot. I'm gonna change that, even if everyone's like, oh, but we've already built this funnel. I've changed my mind because this feels better now.
You're literally saying what I'm trying to say, in much better words. Because I think at the end of the day, it's like this. It's our superpower as women. How are you feeling? Like, are you connected? Like, what is your intuition telling you? And a lot of times we can have this incredible idea and it sounds so great in a team meeting, and then you get to it and then you realize it's like, oh, it just doesn't resonate, you know?
Yeah.
And
I've done that. I've had days off, planning days. I'm like I'll do like vision trips. I try to do every quarter, right? I just take myself out of the business, a couple of days away. There's no plan. I just take books and notepads, and I just hang out until ideas and stuff flow. And I've done that before. I've come back. I think the last one I was like, I'm going out to fix some stuff, and I come back and Samara's like, all right, how was that? I'm like, I didn't really get any ideas. She's like, wasn't that the whole plan? I'm like, yeah, but they just didn't come. They just didn't. And there was one idea that I got, and we tried to execute on it, and it's shit. I'm like, it's not. So I'm going to pull the pin on it, because I'm like, it's just not. It's and I think business is really an art of really being able to do the best you can with all the information you have, knowing that probably by the time 10% of it's executed, you now have new data and new knowledge, and you probably want to change the plan again. And if you can't,
can I challenge this?
Yeah.
Because I got a super mean comment on Instagram, and it's basically a woman that said, "Oh my God, you should stay with your son and not go back to work slowly after 3 months. You should stay, and like, what's wrong with you?" And so I think of it, what a negative comment, right? And I ended up sharing with my audience, hey, I got this comment and I think she's right. My son deserves for me to be present, and it doesn't feel great to go back to work. And there is something more, but I have committed to running my own business, and it's not even about the money. It's about the commitment to other people that work for you. And obviously people are like, oh, how would you say that's such a negative comment? But I had over 1,000 women reach out to me. I was like, thank you so much for saying this, because I feel the same way. As a mom, I really need to go back to my business. I'm not in a position to take 5 years off. And that message and what you said really resonated. And I realized what seems like a negative comment was actually not a negative comment, because that comment made me connect with 1,000 women now that are incredible. I had the most profound conversations with those women. So the fruit of that negative comment is actually beautiful.
Mm.
So is it a negative comment, or is it actually a comment that brought so much goodness into my life? And you can go into your, think week and feel like nothing has changed, but like your vibration changed, like your joy, like you recharge your batteries. You come up with an idea that didn't work, but like that idea could have saved you from a bigger, more expensive version of that idea that would have been shit.
So instead of going down the path that I potentially may have taken,
yeah, you
good idea to
pivoted
go.
much quicker.
Yeah.
So it's like, even like labeling ideas as shit, not shit, or like a waste of time, not waste of time. Like we put these labels on things that sometimes it's just like, what if your week when you go and think ideas, it's not even about you coming back with anything, but just to rest.
And just recharging.
Yeah, this is my recharge week. I think that's way more powerful, because then who knows if you had a better idea 2 weeks after, but because you rested and you gave yourself the space, or the one thing you read in the book didn't come during that week, but it came like 2 months after because something else clicked. So
I love it. During your pregnancy, what was some things that stood out for you that, the common narrative for women is do this or don't do this during pregnancy? Was there anything you sort of recognized during it come from a holistic standpoint where you were like you broke the mold, you broke the myths, where you found it to be useful or unuseful?
It's interesting. So I think one of the main things that you hear as a woman is to not have raw fish. Because it's like, oh, no sushi, no raw fish, because it's very dangerous. And I brought a lot of experts into my pregnancy challenge and course, and some of these recommendations are very outdated, and there's technically no reason for you not to have raw fish. But for example, having canned tuna is way more dangerous than having raw fish.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even like lash serum is more dangerous for you than having raw fish. And so like gardening can be more dangerous than having raw fish. And so a lot of these recommendations are quite outdated when it comes to pregnancy. And I think it was really eye-opening doing research and realizing that pregnancy is probably one of the most misunderstood psychological events of a woman's life.
In which way?
Diet recommendations, completely wrong. Feeling like back to glucose. There's so much you can do to manage your glucose, even when you're having your morning sickness. How much you can do to have your morning sickness less miserable. It just feels like you have it, like power through it. It sucks. There's so much you can do.
What can you do?
Well, as someone who suffered from morning sickness massively, it is connected to your blood sugar as well. So the more stable your blood sugar is, the less of a morning sickness you're going to experience. So
what are some things that women may be doing that would be raising their blood sugars in ways that they wouldn't think about?
The thing is, like, when you are, did you have morning sickness?
No, I have just.
Oh yeah, well, so yeah, so like that's one of the things. It's not like you can completely avoid your chances of gestational diabetes, but you can limit it because it is linked to blood sugar regulation.
One thing we wish we, because Simona had, she had pretty good cravings. Like, wasn't like, I mean, there was like a week or two there where it was definitely ice cream every day, but I was like, baby, come on. But it was fruit. Where like every day she was just, I think, like half a watermelon. And in the
watermelon's a thing.
Yeah. In the beginning, I was like, well, I mean, she could be worse things. Then a few weeks went by, I'm like, actually, that's a lot of sugar. And then our midwife did mention something about getting a test for gestational diabetes, blah, 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 but it was never like seen as this is a very important thing. We really recommend you do this. And it wasn't until one of our friends actually recommended. She goes, hey, I got gestational diabetes. You should go get a blood check. Simona went and did it. But this was like, how many weeks are you pregnant for again? 40? 40 weeks? 40. This was like weeks 33 or something, right? Where it got that long and no one mentioned anything to us about it at all. She'd done the test out of a friend's recommendation. She had gestational diabetes. And then we went to the midwife. They go, oh, this is actually a really big problem. And I'm like, if this was such a big fucking problem, wouldn't that have been a much earlier conversation?
Yeah.
But now,
So
and then
in
she
the
had to
US,
change her
they
diet.
test you at 22 weeks, 22 weeks for gestational diabetes. But in fact, this is something that, you can discuss at 4 weeks or 6 weeks.
And it sounds, from our understanding, it was actually like untreated could create significant issues for yourself and the baby.
Oh, it's super dangerous.
So I'm like, why is this not a conversation? As soon as you find you're pregnant, congratulations. Hey, here's some things to look out for. If you are really craving sweets, you need to be careful of. So here's how to why don't we put you on a nice, healthy diet anyway? Because that's what we did, change the diet, and it
also
changed.
Back to our conversation of eating in the right order and having a little bit of protein and fat. So like, my reality, you can absolutely minimize your chance of gestational diabetes in pregnancy. You might not be able to avoid it. Some of it can be a genetic tendency, but it's not a predetermination. Now, what can you do? My first trimester, I was eating crackers. I just made sure I had crackers with cheese or any sorts of protein or any sorts of fat, so I don't have this massive spike. Because the more spikes you have, the more chances you are of developing gestational diabetes. Because we know that women that walk less than 5,000 steps a day in the first trimester tend to get it. Women that eat more sugar without protein and fat, which is essentially when you're like struggling and you have morning sickness and you're eating your crackers, you can make it worse. And morning sickness is also linked to blood sugar dips. So there's so many recommendations. Like, I get it. Like, pregnancy is not going to be the time when you eat the healthiest. At least wasn't for me, because I was just like, it's hard enough as it is. I'm not gonna like biohack right now. I'm sorry. Like, but you can do small changes that can make you feel better, be healthier for you, and no one is really talking about it, and that's really frustrating.
It blew my mind. I actually got pretty pissed off about it because they were all telling us. I mean, they were trying to induce Simona early. So we found out weeks 33, 34, and then a midwife was like, I think her first reaction was, oh, it's okay, just try to do some walks. I'm like, okay. Then the next week was, okay, this is a really big problem now. We have to induce you early. And we're like, hang on a second. If that was that big of a deal, it's really annoying that we found out now.
Yeah.
However, Simona completely changed it around within a couple of weeks from going for a walk after every single meal. So we'd eat and then we'd just go for a walk together. And then high protein diet. And I think within like a week, her blood's completely changed way back under. But it would have been good information to know earlier.
Yeah. Like at the beginning of the pregnancy. It's so funny because it's like you get pregnant and I asked my doctor and I was like, okay, so what do I do now? Like, obviously I had to know my first pregnancy. I'm like, is there anything? And she's like, don't eat raw fish. Don't eat deli meat. Like, it's like a big one. And deli meat is actually a pretty big one.
It just became a
Listeria.
carcinogenic. Did you see
that?
No,
but oh really?
Yeah, they I don't know if this was in the US or in Australia. Deli ham just became I'm completely, I don't know the exact thing that they coined it as, but they put it in the same category as tobacco.
Well, I mean, and it's also like ham, like the Italian ham that you're gonna get. That's that's like versus the industrial ham that we're probably serving people. Two different things. But just back to pregnancy, when you like Listeria is probably the most dangerous condition you can get, which is in deli meat.
What's it called?
Listeria, which is a bacteria that tends to be in deli meat.
Right.
So that's way more dangerous than for you to have than having raw fish, right? So Listeria can have a very, very negative impact on your fetus. So that's I would avoid, over. What else do we tell pregnant women? Oh my God. I mean, I went to Burning Man pregnant and everyone freaked out.
Did you?
Yeah.
How many weeks were you?
34.
Wow. That's
very
great.
Pregnant.
What I noticed through Simona's pregnancy is never in my life have I had so many people want to offer their opinions.
I know, it's amazing.
It's
what
hilarious.
A gift, right? Yeah.
It's like, and my favorite one, I should probably actually go find this guy's comment. Actually, this person inspired me. I'm going to put a reel out this week. Because I like to set intentions before things happen, so I can stay committed to what I. And I remember I was on a podcast, somebody asked me, they're like, something along the lines of, Koa coming on. And I said, I was like, I've already made an agreement with Simona. I'm like, our intention is our life's not going to change. Like, I'm not going to be one of those parents that use my kids as an excuse to why I can't do the things that we want to do. Like, we're still going to travel. We're still going to enjoy our life. And we're going to do this. And someone's like, yeah, good luck with that, or some stupid shit. And the other day, we were at a beach club here in Bali with Koa. And we were just laughing. Because I'm like, we were in the more upper level section. And then I was like, I wonder if we can go down to the bar. I'm like, someone get an Aperol Spritz. I'm like, let's take Koa. And I thought security was actually going to stop us. And they're like, yeah, come. I'm like, welcome to Bali. Yeah. We're sitting at a beach club, having Aperol Spritz, and we have a 6-month-old. And then so I'm going to put some on social media to be like, my life completely changed after having a kid. Here we are at a beach club, traveling to Fiji, going to Bali. I think we've done 3 or 4 countries with him so far. Our life's the same. In fact, our life's probably better because Simona's here all the time now.
I think it's way better. And I think it is scary the first time you travel with your baby because you feel like, am I being completely am I being an asshole? Am I being so selfish by like dragging my baby across the world, da 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 da? But then I know from there's this quote that there is no greatest burden on your child than unlived life of his parents. And I know that my parents have given up so much for me. And as a child that is conscious, I don't feel well with this decision because it puts insane pressure on a baby. Because I don't think a lot of babies would be willing to take that baggage, right? Like, I think if you love someone, you want to see them live, right? And so it's like, is it really compromising your baby's, like, I agree. If this was compromising your baby's health or well-being, you wouldn't do it, But when the baby gets to see how you live your life, how much in love you are, that makes the baby happy, right? Yeah. Like, because babies love love, right? They love witnessing joy. They are pure joy. They are pure love. So of course, anything that like they get to witness real life, it's beautiful. And like for different people, that can mean different things, right? It is easier in Bali to bring a baby to a beach club than it would be probably in the US, right? Whereas like I joke that it's easier in LA to have a dog than a baby because you can bring a dog to a lot of places, but not a baby.
Yeah. Talk me through the pregnancy situation. So it sounds like you've fully prepped your body. You did your 0 trimester. I'm assuming you've like we've dived into so many things, which I hope the listeners are getting a lot from, because I've learned a lot. The pregnancy itself, going birth week, week after, all this stuff. What were you doing then from a biohacking perspective, from a holistic perspective? I remember Simona was just the week after, we just like we had a doula come around and she made all this amazing food and nutrition and all these sorts of things. Because the reason I'm asking is because I talked to someone the other day and him and his partner about to have kids. I said, "Are you excited?" He goes, "Yeah, I think so." I go, "Have you got a doula or anything?" And they go, "Nah, we're just gonna wing it all." I'm like, "Oh man," it's like I don't think winging it is not a great strategy. So all of these things I want people to be prepped for. So what was it like for you? Week after?
I mean, I over prepped, and I'm in the same boat. It's like if you run a marathon, you prep. What is this when you wanna? Oh my God, please help me. We need to. What is the saying that if you wanna cut something, you gotta
burn the bridges, burn the roads?
No, like if you wanna cut a tree, you have to spend 80% of the time like sharpening the.
If you wanna, so if you wanna cut down a tree, you'd spend. Someone said the quote actually, but yeah.
Yeah, 80% of the time like
sharpening the axe.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is very much true for everything in life. Like you want to get to a point where you prepare so much that you can just surrender to the experience. Like Anthony Hopkins, he apparently reads the script over and over and over, and he knows the script, not only his lines, but everyone else's. He knows the entire movie by heart so he can enjoy and have fun. And I think that's the difference between a pro and an amateur. Like you don't want to wing it. You want to just prepare so much, then like you can really surrender to the experience. Our experience, like of parenthood, the first 10 weeks so far, has been easy in a way. Like hard in a lot of ways. Our baby ended up being in the hospital after birth because he inhaled fluids. And even through that experience, it felt easy because we so over prepared. We built such deep systems in our businesses. We got a separate phone. We had like a burner phone where we basically only our family had access to, and we blocked the other phones away to like protect the bubble.
Yeah.
And it felt like the most magical time of our lives. And it's beautiful when you actually can prep, because then it just feels like, oh wow, it's not as hard as they make it to be.
Did you do a home birth?
No.
In the hospital?
No. I labored for 24 hours at home, and then
Holy dolly.
yeah.
I would have thought you would have gone for the home birth. How come you didn't?
We did it just when we knew that he might have inhaled something, we transferred to the hospital.
So the intention was the first 24 hours you were thinking we're doing this at home?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we started at home, and then my doctor's like, oh, I think he might have inhaled fluid. So just in case, I think we should go to the hospital. And she was right, because he did. So that was helpful. And I was a little bummed, but I also was like, holy shit, I'm grateful that we were there, and he recovered pretty quickly.
It's interesting, the birth, because it's kind of back to what we're talking about with business. You mentioned before, it's like sometimes women feel like they've failed at birth, and one of our friends, even because we have two of our great friends, we're all like 1 month apart.
Oh.
So we were the last. So we heard one story like, oh my god, the next story we're like, oh my god, then ours. And one of them was, she was being hard on herself because it didn't end in the way that she wanted in the beginning. I was like, you gotta remember the goal. The goal was not an absolute pristine perfect birth. The goal was delivering an amazing healthy baby. That's the goal, and you got there in the way that you had to, and you have to be open to navigate and pivot in times of uncertainty.
Yeah, and when I think one of my proudest offerings is my pregnancy course, because it took so much love and effort, and we talk about.
So this is how to prep your body and stuff.
Yes.
And go through it.
Yeah, that's and amazing. How to go through pregnancy and prepare for labor, and two things that I teach that I had to learn myself, which is kind of funny that it became true. Number one, you create an energetical birth plan, not an event birth plan, because you never know. At the end of the day, this is not your birth, it's your baby's birth, and he gets to choose how he comes onto this planet, right? And we all have things like my birth story, and I'm like, it's not my birth story, it's my baby's birth story. I had my birth story 38 years ago. And so what I can do is like, I can choose how I want to feel during that experience. I wanted to feel informed, feel like I'm in the loop, that I get to make the decision, that I'm respected, supported, that it's calm. And when I was birthing at home, it was my decision to go to the hospital. It wasn't like my doctor, blah, blah, blah. She was like, I think it would be a good idea. I have a feeling he might have inhaled fluid. And I was like, yeah, that feels right. And I ticked all of my boxes of feeling loved, supported, feeling like I had it. So even though the experience, like, I ended up being in a hospital, but I felt like, the emotions that I wanted to feel, I did feel during my birth. And I think that's the most important. Instead of getting hung up on I didn't have those candles, or I had this. At the end of the day, every woman will tell you how she felt during her birth. And it's not where she did it or who was there or what was the person. She will just remember how she was made feel. And that's the key. And if C-section is necessary, good. Like, I don't want women to feel like I failed because I had a C-section. Like, okay, cool. But like, were you respected, supported, celebrated during that process? That's what matters.
Yeah. We try to make it as special as we could. We picked a song. We're like, okay, like when he's coming out, this is the song I'm going to put on. So it's like, it'd be special. And it was very like shamanic, kind of like, like medicine music type stuff. And, so we put this on, but Simone was in for a while. It was a while. It was like a full day through the night and the next morning, and it just wasn't happening. And then it ended in C-section. And we both looked at each other. We're like, it's like if he was going to come out, he would have been here already. And then when he came out, they literally said like his head was stuck in the cervix, and he's like, and they said they're like, there's no way he was coming out. Like, so really good decision, really good, you know. And then so we took a speaker into the surgery room, and we're like, we're putting this on, and that's, you know, and it was awesome. It was great, and that was sort of our mindset going into it. It's like it's going to happen in whatever way it's meant to unfold, and we're going to flow with that.
Beautiful.
Otherwise, it's not. Otherwise, you're quite masculine. You can't force
exactly
it, right?
Exactly.
What has it been like since then? So give us a quick rundown of how are you looking after your body now, and also relationship wise. Like it's a couple months in now. How are you guys both holistically, health wise, relationship wise?
I'm still taking it easy. I mean, it's only been 10 weeks, and I think I thought I'm gonna have more pressure to bounce back, but I don't, you know. And it's like I'm still in such a bubble that it's like hard, you know, when we talk in a few months, I'll let you know how I'm doing, but I'm just really taking our sweet time where like the newborn bubble, that's where I just told you that I have to run because I know he's gonna be up, or he's already up, and I want to be there, right? So to just soak in every single moment when he's not napping. And yeah, like I think that's just, I don't have any advice apart from the just like surrendering to what feels right. And I think every parent would tell you that the wish to be present has never been stronger than when you have a baby. And every second counts, and you just want to be home with your baby.
I love it. I love it. Well, Aggie, thanks so much. This has been great. Then there's probably gonna be like a round 2 in here one day, I think.
Yeah, it's so good.
So much more, because you're a wealth of knowledge. You've done this whole. The reason I wanted to talk about pregnancy is because it's so new. But if I had to talk to you a year ago, we probably wouldn't really deep into like more on the health side, and you know, so you have so much to give as well. So where can everyone find you if they're not already in your world?
You can find me on Instagram at Aggie, Aggie, or check out my supplements, biohackingbestie.com. So
amazing. And if you ever get back underneath the canopy, skydiving, we'll have to jump together.
Let's do it.
Last question for you is, if you were to go back to your 18-year-old self and give her 30 seconds of advice, what would it be?
It all is going to turn out just fine. So enjoy the journey and don't stress, and don't feel like there is a timeline by which you have to achieve certain things, because they will happen when they're meant to happen.